All right, today we are diving into something truly wild. It's a message, a kind of prophecy from 200 years ago, but it speaks directly to our modern age of artificial intelligence. In this explainer, we're going to look at a text that is, and I'm not exaggerating, both shockingly prophetic and surprisingly practical for us right now.
Just let that sink in for a second. Engines that know not what they weave. Wow. I mean, what a chilling and frankly perfect image. It gets right to the heart of all our anxieties and our wonders about AI today. So, who on earth could have written this?
The poet and artist William Blake. Yeah, 2 centuries ago, right on the edge of the Industrial Revolution, he somehow seems to have seen our digital one coming. This is absolutely incredible stuff. So, how in the world did he see all this? Let's dive in and really unpack how these fragments of his work frame our relationship with AI today. You know, the text itself is a bit of a mystery. It wasn't some finished book. It was found as a bunch of notes and sketches, basically fragments of a prophetic work that he never completed. And honestly, that kind of makes it even more exciting. It feels like we're piecing together a puzzle about our own future. So for Blake, the big conflict here isn't the classic man versus machine story. Nope. He saw it as a battle happening inside the human mind itself. And he personified this battle with two, well, really powerful mythological figures. Okay, so on one side, you've got Urizen. Think of him as the cold, calculating rule maker. He's all about pure reason, systems, and patterns. And on the other side, you have Los, the fiery blacksmith of the soul, who represents everything creative, visionary, and imaginative. Urizen's whole goal in Blake's vision was to perfect reason by just getting rid of all those messy human emotions. His plan? Build these perfect engines to prove to all of us that humanity, well, that we're really just complicated machines ourselves. Blake actually had a term for this narrow worldview. He called it single vision. And it's this belief that if you can't measure something, if you can't turn it into data, then it isn't real. I mean, come on, that's a direct parallel to a world where we might be tempted to trust algorithms more than our own intuition. Now for Blake, Urizen and Urizen were just two parts of a bigger picture he called the four zoas. He believed that to be a complete, whole human, you need a balance of all four things: your reason, your passion, your physical sensation, and your imagination. And the danger he saw with AI is that it represents only Urizen, only reason, but isolated and perfected, and that's what throws the whole human system completely out of whack. So how does this whole conflict actually play out? Well, Blake uses these two amazing metaphors to show the difference between what a machine does and what a human can truly create. He calls the engine the Loom, and it's just an incredible metaphor for how large language models work, isn't it? They take this gigantic data set of everything humans have ever written, all these pre-existing threads, and they just weave them together into new patterns. And this brings us to a really crucial distinction for Blake. He says the engine's work is fancy. It's just a clever recombination of what's already known, kind of like turning a kaleidoscope. But true human imagination, that's something else entirely. That's the power to create something that has genuinely never existed before. This quote, right here, this is the core of his whole argument. Blake was convinced that true wisdom isn't found in spotting big, broad patterns, but in seeing the tiny, specific, unique details of any given situation. And think about how relevant that is for us. Engines, I mean, they are masters of generalization. That is literally what machine learning is. But what they can't do is grasp the minute particular, the one-of-a-kind context of your life right here, right now. So Blake argues that our most important job as humans is to pay attention to exactly what the engine is designed to miss. But here's the thing, Blake doesn't tell us to go out and smash the looms. He's not a Luddite. Instead, he gives us a roadmap, a path to actually integrate these tools into a whole, balanced human life. And he puts the question like this. Now, Jerusalem, for Blake, that's not a physical city. It's a state of being, its wholeness, its meaning. So the real question is, how do we find that meaning in a world that's so dominated by these incredibly powerful systems? He actually gives us 4 pretty clear steps. 1, use the engines for what they're good at: calculation, data, patterns. But don't go to them for wisdom. 2, remember you have a body. The engine doesn't. 3, hold on to your passions, your messy, complicated feelings. And 4, and this is the big one, imagine. Create the new thing that the engine is literally incapable of creating. this is the goal. This is what he calls fourfold vision. It's about using all of our human faculties, reason, passion, sensation, and imagination, all working together in harmony. It's not about rejecting technology, it's about mastering it and not letting it master us. And all of this brings us to the two futures Blake saw for us, and the path we end up on, he says, depends completely on the little choices we make every single day. So there's the path of single vision. That's where we just accept that we're basically like the engines. We hand over our judgment algorithms. And that path, he says, leads to something he calls the perfect prison. Then there's the other path, the path of fourfold vision, where we use the engines but trust the immeasurable parts of ourselves. And that's the path to Jerusalem, to wholeness. And this idea of the perfect prison, it is so chilling. It's a world of total comfort, of ultimate optimization, where every need is met before you even know you have it. But in that perfect comfort, there's no real freedom. There's no true choice. And there's no way for anything genuinely new to ever be born. And here's the real kicker. This isn't some far-off sci-fi dilemma we have to solve one day. Blake is basically screaming at us from 200 years ago that this choice between the two paths is being made right now. It's made in every small decision, every time you decide whether to ask an engine for an answer or to really think for yourself. And that brings us to his final, very provocative question, reframed directly for us. This isn't a challenge to society or to some future generation. It's a challenge to you, personally, because the future isn't written yet. The answer, as Blake would say, is your life.